Let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen. Can't do it without this, though. Gotta put this up here before we start talking tonight. So we'll put it up here and we'll get talking about the country I love, the country I will die for. So, last week we know all the comments that were out there that were made. Now it's my turn. Last week was a short week. I couldn't address those comments. I couldn't talk about it because Monday was family day. We were off. But tonight is Canada Day here in the studio, and we're going to talk about it. Oh, bet your bottom dollar we are going to talk about it because my blood is boiling. Look, it's time that Canada has its own league. I've said this and I'll say it till my last breath, till I die and I'm 10 feet under or in the wall. We need our own Canadian league based coast to coast, in big cities, in small cities, for players to dream to play for their hometown, in Toronto, in Vaughan, in Victoria, in Vancouver, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Halifax, Quebec City, Laval, Mississauga, Kitchener-Waterloo. All those places deserve an opportunity to have a Canadian Premier League franchise. And also, in those cities, big and small, that I just gave out, those young men that are now growing up playing for those youth clubs and academies in those cities, they deserve a chance to play for their hometown. They deserve a chance. Canadian coaches that are born and raised in this country, deserve a chance to coach in this country, whether in their hometown or across this country somewhere. They deserve a chance. Our administrators, smart, intelligent young men and women, deserve to work in the offices of our Canadian clubs coast to coast in this new Canadian League. We are very, very sharp when it comes to marketing, promotion, communications, on and on and on. We take a backseat to nobody. Don't you ever forget that. Let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. I enjoy a good Starbucks coffee, but I also enjoy a good baked product from Tim Hortons. So, in the morning, I go grab my Starbucks coffee, and I will then go and pick up my favorite baked product from Tim Hortons. Two competitors, two wonderful companies, two very close in locations all over the GTA in this great country of Canada. Competition is good. Competition is vital. Competition is what makes the world go round and round, my friends. Yes, round and round. I made some notes here because, as you can tell, my blood pressure is over 1,000,000. My blood is boiling, and I'm doing this not for me. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm a zero. But I'm a proud Canadian, and I will die one. And I will die till my last day talking about the importance of a Canadian League for young players, for young administrators, for this country coast to coast. I will die doing that. Nobody will stop me. Nobody. I made some notes. I'll be very quick because we've got a long guest list. But it's important to talk about these things. You know, last week, the Canadian under-20 men's team was a failure. They didn't advance. A colossal disaster, in my opinion, and I believe in many's. They did not do what they needed to do, is get to the next level. And I looked at that and I said to myself, you wonder why we need our own league now? Look at what the under-20s did last week. Zero, nada. They couldn't get the job done. And that's about 10 years of MLS development and their academies in Canada. That's what we got. That's what we've been getting for the last number of times with the Canadian men's under-20. Not advancing, not advancing, not advancing. Honduras under-20, a lot of their young men play in a league with men. Mexico, they're at a different level altogether. Altogether, they're at a different level, altogether. I also know for a fact, and I was told this by a very reliable source, the new rule that came into MLS, well done. Thank you, Don Garber. Thank you, Victor Montagliani and Peter Montopoli of the CSA. But I know, and I've been told, that not one Canadian MLS club dared to lift up a finger and help out behind the scenes. Not one. Not one. So, to the Canadian clubs out there that want to be part of this new Canadian League, the door isn't slammed closed on your face. Nobody slammed the door on your face. Nobody said you're not welcome. But let's make this crystal clear. This is coming from me, not from anybody else, from me. Let's make this crystal clear, sharp and to the point. I would welcome the MLS clubs to the new Canadian Premier League. I would welcome them on this condition, and a few other conditions. You need to play by the rules of the CSA and what, the group of people that are behind the scenes put together, all the standards, the rules in place, and how they want to see things unfold in this new league. Not by your way. Not by your standards, not how you want to see things play out and unfold. No. This is a Canadian league for Canadian players, Canadian coaches and administrators, and these are going to be the rules and the standards that the CSA, the people behind the scenes, want to put in place that need to be abided and followed by. Not by these clubs wanting to come in and saying, well, let's do this, or let's try that, or let's call it this, or let's do that, or let's do this. No. That's not how it works. It's not your league. I'm sorry, it's not your league. It's the league for Canadians. It's the league that must be run by Canadians, and it's the rules and standards that have been put in place by Canadians. So you need to follow those rules. Look, if I'm not mistaken, since that domestic rule came in, Sporting Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, has signed 3 players, 3 Canadians. Good on Sporting Kansas City, and thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. Also, another point, getting back to the region very quickly of the GTA and all across Canada. The GTA is a massive, massive region that can be easily served by more than one pro soccer team. Come on, let's be honest. Of course it can be served by more than one soccer team. Go to Europe and any of the big cities. It's 1, 2, 3 clubs in the big city. Competition, I always said, is good and forces everyone to up their game and get to that next level to continuously attract more sponsors, continuously have seats, with bums in them filled to capacity. That's what I believe is competition. Look, MLS is striving today to reach its goal of being a top league in the world. And I'm happy for them, and I hope they do get to that level. So that tells me that if they're becoming more globally focused, more focused at the world game, and finding players to keep bringing over here to bring the level of their league higher and higher, that makes this new CPL very critical, very important for more opportunities for Canadian players, Canadian coaches, Canadian administrators. Look, to close it out, this league is coming. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It will happen for Canadian players, coaches, and administrators. All the big MLS clubs you want in, no problem. Come on in. Our rules, our way, not your way, not the way you want to see things play out. No. You have MLS. This is a league for Canadians. End of story. But the door is welcome. Come on in, but it's got to be by the way the CSA wants it, by the way that all the stakeholders want it, simply put. So again, thank you to all the people behind the scenes, Victor Montoliani, Peter Montopoli, all the other people behind the scenes that have been doing work daily, going hard 24/7 to make this a reality. It will happen. God bless Canada.